Okay, everybody, you have questions or any ridicule you want to heap at us?
Two popes for production design, don't you think? The Sistine Chapel.
Interesting.
recreated?
Oh, that would have been great if it was nominated.
It didn't get nominated.
No. But maybe a write-in vote? I don't know. I agree with you. If they knew the story of that, I mean, how they did that and the Sistine Chapel, some of it had to be digitalized because they couldn't get that high. And so it was half and half. And then they went to a tattoo artist in Rome who did these tattoos that they put up of the frescoes and things all over the place. Those were basically done by a tattoo guy. And and that's how they did a lot of it. It's a great production design. It's incredible.
I think The Two Popes is a great example, forgive me Netflix folks, I love you dearly, of a movie that would have gotten a lot more serious attention as a box office hit.
Right.
You know, as opposed to something that you see on your TV.
Hidden Life got totally shut out from the Oscars, but got a ton of Independent Spirit Award nominations.
Malick burned his bridges with a number of films after Tree of Life that people walked into and walked out of unhappy at the end.
I resisted A Hidden Life beginning in Cannes, and every festival I went to where I had the opportunity to see it, I said, no, I just can't submit to 3 hours of another Terrence Malick
But
movie.
I loved it.
After the three. But they kept begging me, and I finally saw it here. I've now seen it twice. It
great.
made my top 10 list of my top 10 movies that I did on Deadline. I think it's an extraordinary movie, but I so agree with Ann. There's so many people that won't give this guy a fourth chance after those
Correct.
3 movies.
Going back to preferential voting for Best Picture, which seems to be the electoral college of the Oscars, do you see in the near future a point where the membership just rebels and says, we can't take this anymore, let's just go back to voting for Best Picture and that's it?
I think they have to make all kinds of changes in the electoral process at some point. You're starting with a whole voting process that's illogical. It's only peer groups get to vote for the nominees, but everybody gets to vote for the winners. You have acting awards designated by gender, but not director. And then look at the gender that gets shut out of directing. Should that have its own gender-specific category? There are lots of questions like this.
There are. I would suggest to you that ABC is calling the shots here, and they believed when they went for more more movies for Best Picture, that they would get more commercial movies for Best Picture, and they would get more viewers as a result.
I mean, the Academy,
they think it works that way, and it doesn't.
when they went to 10, they went to the preferential for Best Film
Right.
because they said they didn't want a film winning with only 10% of the votes. Because, you know, with 9, it's like 11%.
I think it was 12.
Yeah, they wanted
Yeah.
a consensus.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, again, I kind of feel like they picked this system, and they're going. I feel like they're going to stick with it because you have to get the board of like 54 people to agree to a change. And it's like,
I think the change they're going to make is in the directing category. They've been criticized ever since they went to preferential that they didn't do it with directors. Because you're saying the movie directed itself for potentially 5 movies that you nominate for Best Picture. You're saying those 5 directed itself because they aren't, you know, there's only 5 nominees for Best Director. All they have to do is extend that to the directing category.
I would agree with that.
You know,
And then there's going to be more inclusion as a result.
because they're going to
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
meeting over this because of what happened and all the complaints about women. Not that who would you knock out in that category? I don't think anybody.
Nobody.
But
Greta might
nevertheless,
have been
it got so
sixth.
much, and the Golden Globes too. Ann and I were called into a meeting at the Hollywood Foreign Press to
Right.
give our opinions along with some other journalists. They were freaked out because they were getting all this criticism for not having Greta Gerwig essentially nominated, or a woman. The way they do that is they give them more opportunity now in the industry to make these movies, and at the Oscars to get nominated just by expanding that directing category like they did picture.
I think they should have top 10 in every single category for all of these peer group awards. Yes, we all have our top 10 lists. Why can't Oscar?
And I also love the Directors Guild First-Time Directors category, which
Yeah.
gives some attention to someone like Alma Harrell, who totally deserved to win that.
3 of
at
the 5
DGA.
nominees were women in that category.
Right.
That's why the DGA didn't get hit on this like every other organization.
They had that other category.
They could point to, we're looking at the future,
Right.
which is exactly what they did.
Dummy.
Your thoughts? I made it short.
I believe that it's going to be Hair Love Have I got that title right?
It is
I
her.
think it is Hair Love.
I
I'm
haven't
not
seen-
saying that's my favorite, but I think that's the one that will win for various obvious reasons.
I'm like a lot of Academy voters. I am really struggling to see these. When I had to make my predictions, I'd seen one in each of those short categories, so I predicted them. But I don't know because I haven't seen all of them. I love the Pixar short, Kid Bull. I thought that was a great movie. And it's done by a woman director, given the chance, Pixar and this kind of sub thing, to get to make your own film. It's not done by all the main Pixar people, the guys. And I love that. I love the short that I saw called The Neighbor's Window. It's extraordinary. But I heard
I don't think that'll win.
I heard
no.
football club might win.
I don't
so.
think that it's that either. I'm not remembering the one. It's the
I don't know. I haven't seen the others.
on the dock side. In the Absence is my favorite.
Which one?
In the Absence, it's the Korean one.
Oh
It's
yeah, and you know,
extraordinary.
Koreans
It's about the
are big
ferry
this
that
year.
tips over.
Yeah, they're big at the Oscars. That could be if you knew that was the case. I saw How to Skateboard in Kabul if you're a
That's the
girl.
front runner,
And
apparently.
that one is like period end of sentence last year that won. It really is an
It
amazing
ticks
movie.
the boxes for them.
Yeah, it does.
But
I
the one
think
that upsets you the most, I think, is In the Absence.
Yeah,
It's-
I have to see it.
it's
I
a
haven't
killer.
seen it.
Do you feel that there's anything to a backlash against Netflix?
It's not in all the other categories. Everybody will do what they think is right. But in Best Picture, there's still a group, a sizable group that is resisting Netflix, and virulently so.
Yeah, Netflix gets the leading number of nominations, so it's not in the other categories, and it's not, going to hurt them nomination-wise. But they feel like if it gets Best Picture, that's a whole other thing. Oddly enough, at the Emmys, they haven't been able to break through like some other streamers. It's not because they hate Netflix at the Emmys; it's a television entity. But they haven't been able to get drama series, comedy series, miniseries, and they keep throwing money at that, and it's
The
difficult.
Crown did well recently.
Yeah, but didn't win at
Just-
the
It
Emmys.
won something else.
Yeah.
I mean, heading into next year.
Oh, heading into next year. But now they thought Game of Thrones is gone, and now you have Succession, the hottest show.